Jets fans, and welcome to episode number 45 of the JetStream Podcast. I am Travis Rubinick. Today is October 13th. I'm here with Joe Clark and Neil Noonan. Happy Thanksgiving, boys. Or, well, to you guys and Canadian people everywhere, because Canada's normal and puts Thanksgiving at a reasonable time of year, not right before Christmas.
Yeah, the perfect time. I don't know what they're doing down there.
It's the ideal time.
Beautiful out
right when
now.
You're like, oh, I haven't had a long weekend for a while.
Exactly. It's like, there you go. Thanksgiving comes. You got a little bit of time before Remembrance Day.
Yep. Just perfect.
Yeah,
Exactly.
spaced out nicely.
It is.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Way to go, Canada.
You win.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it like Columbus Day or something?
I don't know.
I don't know. America's just like, oh, we need another holiday.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're America and we do whatever the hell we want. But yeah, everything is happening right now in the world. Hockey's back. The Walking Dead started up last night.
Hell yeah.
It was fantastic.
Do we have an Everything is Happening drop? No.
We need to get one of those.
We should get one of those.
Yeah,
We have no drops
are
at all
down
today because
Oh,
Neil did something to his computer.
Oh, that's too
Well,
sad.
I reformatted the entire thing and everything's nice. And to use GarageBand to the fullest extent, you have to download 14 gigs worth of files. So I wasn't gonna say like, let's wait an hour to record for our drops, but
Yeah.
fucking stupid shit.
can
Next
just
week,
deal with that
drops
next
are
week.
back.
Next week.
Excellent.
Back in full force.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Better than ever.
I also made the poor decision to start watching Breaking Bad like last week.
Yeah, what?
So yeah, that was really dumb because I'm already on season 3. So
Nice work.
yeah, it's between that and Gotham starting up, which has been a fantastic show so far, and
That's what the guy from the OC I saw, right?
Yeah.
guy from the
Ryan
OC.
Atwood?
I never saw the OC. So
Oh,
What was his name in the
dude.
OC? What was his name in the OC?
Ryan Atwood.
Oh, okay. I don't
that
know.
was his name, or is that his actor?
No,
that
that's
was
his name
his
in the
name.
OC.
I've
California.
I loved that shit when I was younger.
wow, Joe.
I never really watched it. But
I've watched a total of maybe like 45 seconds of the OC, and that was
wow.
just like
that was like the thing. That was the show for a while. That
for
and,
most of my life, I've only watched hockey.
The OC
so.
and what was that other one? One Tree Hill.
One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
Loved that.
I did watch One Tree Hill for a long time.
A little OTH.
Until what's his name? Oh man, what was the main character's name?
I don't know. I never
Chad
watched
Michael
it.
Murray?
Sure.
Lucas Scott?
Lucas, yes. As soon as he like disappeared from the cast, I was like, I'm done with this show. I can't watch it anymore. So, well, like he was like the main character, and then he just left.
Okay.
And I was like, how does that make sense? This is a TV show. You can't just get rid of your main. Well, I guess
Marissa died in the now I can't think of the name, even though I just said it. The one we were
Show,
talking
One
about
Tree
before.
Hill?
No, OC.
Oh, the OC.
We'll see.
Oh,
I
right,
didn't
sorry,
watch
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I watched.
She was like one of the main characters. And she
I guess
died.
in Game of Thrones, the main character dies pretty early. But
Isn't that like the whole like thing of Game of Thrones? Is just
everyone
everybody
dies.
dies? Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
The
even
Walking
seen it.
Dead at least keeps their like super popular characters around.
I thought it
Everyone
was
else
so
dies.
funny. This isn't really a spoiler, but at the beginning of the episode where those 8 guys or so were lined up to basically get killed,
Yeah.
and the 4 main characters are all on one side.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I
You're
wonder
like,
what side of the
yeah, I
line they're
wonder-
going to start on.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not that side. Just ends the series in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Everything's
Yeah.
over. That
And
was
it's
so
done.
gruesome, by the way. Just
They're getting
Back to
away
back
with
head.
like South Park level shit where I can't believe it's on TV.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was
And they
unreal.
can't say the word fuck.
Yeah.
But they can literally just chop heads and
The thing is, they said it again. Watching Breaking Bad, they say fuck on Breaking Bad,
they
and
got
I was
one
like,
fuck per season though.
how does that happen? I was like, this is on like children could watch. You're bad parents if you let your children watch this, but children could be watching this
in
right
their
now.
in their production deal, they got 1 fuck per season.
Oh, that's
and,
really weird.
And there's like
You use it wisely.
exactly, and like some of them, when you hear that fuck, you're like, oh my
Whoa.
god, like
Yeah, like I just got past the point. If you haven't watched Breaking Bad and you're like me and are just way behind, sorry, this isn't really a spoiler anymore. But I'm at that point where, like his wife knows everything now, and she just got back. And the episode I just finished off with, she walks up to him right at the eye, and he's making dinner, and she's like, "I fucked Ted," and then
Yeah,
walks
that's
away.
the-
and I
that's
was
one of
like,
the-
"Oh, that was powerful."
Yeah, that's one
I was
of the
like,
best
"You
ones.
bitch, I hate you."
I fuck Ted.
Ugh.
Because like the last episode of Walking Dead, the last season, where the last line is literally
So, like,
they're screwing with the wrong people.
yeah, it would have been so
But in
much
the
more
comic
powerful.
book, it's obviously they're fucking with the wrong people.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, the G-rated version.
Oh, it's.
Apparently on the DVD they put the fuck in there for
Oh,
everybody,
perfect.
so.
I'm sure that he had to shoot it once saying it that way.
Oh yeah, because there's a big fan base from the comics.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Man, we're dropping a lot of swears, though, contributing to the swear jar.
Yeah.
Which just reminds me of my rant last week.
It's because they aren't planned swears. Like, when we plan on swearing, then we all bring change. But
I'm just going to empty this out because I feel like there might be some coming.
What's this little guy?
That's the little guy we saw. We have a little Jets guy.
Nice.
It just reminds me of after that rant I had last week, which, by the way, ended up being incredibly awkward because they didn't waive Michael Hutchinson.
Oh, that was weird.
We ended up going back afterwards. I'm just going to dump a bunch of change out here. I don't care what comes out. We ended up going back, and
there's a lot of money in there.
We counted the swears from my rant last week, and I sweared like what was it, like $6 worth of swears or something?
Yeah, it was $6, and you only put in like $1.50.
Yeah, so I owe the swear jar a little bit after that rant.
Big time.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go back, and I still stand by the fact that you could probably switch Michael Hutchinson and Peter Budaj with Chris Thorburn and Eric Odell, and that rant still makes complete sense. So, yeah.
Pretty close.
The other thing that's kind of taking up my entire life, or, well, took up a little bit of my time last week, is the JetStream Fantasy Hockey League.
Yeah.
Which is officially underway.
Fantastic.
You guys are absolutely amazing, by the way. So, the JetStream Fantasy Hockey League is finally set. We have 12 competitors, 12 managers or owners, will say.
That filled up in like less than a day.
Oh yeah, it was filled up before the episode really even got aired, so I had to say notice. If you were one of those people who I unfortunately didn't get either back to or we couldn't get an invite to, it's because we filled it up. We kind of wanted to set a cap at 12 people because anymore and the draft would have taken forever, and
it already took like an hour and a half.
It already took a decent amount of time to get through, and guys were prepared.
Yeah.
We're broken up into two divisions: the Advanced Stats division and the Watch the Game division. And some of these team names are just top notch. So for those of you, I'm going to read them off right now. These, like, you guys did very well. So in the Advanced Stats division, you have Pavel Oelik, which is my name. What Did Chevy Do Today, who is Arby.
Obviously.
Morburn, who is Pete Tessier. Don't Tase Me Bro, who is my boy Mark from work. He listens occasionally to the podcast. KHL All-Stars, who has his name hidden. I think I know who it is, but I don't know if he just doesn't want people to know, so I'm not going to say anything. And then Joe's Great Team, which is by far the worst name in the entire thing.
You know why it's called Joe's Great Team? Because it's great.
Is it great?
Yeah.
And your
it's just an accurate name.
Slogan is just like, great.
Great, yeah. Well, when I went to my little team management page and I was going to go change my name, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm keeping it Joe's Great Team.
Everyone's beaking you.
And then it was like the little thing was like, put your team slogan in, and I was just like, great.
So that's not going anywhere, apparently.
Joe's Great Team. We're great.
So in the Watch the Game division, we have some of the like just best team names ever. Burmistrov's Nuts, which is Pity,
of course.
Shife the Knife, which is Brian. Playing for Eighth, which is Blaine. Fuck Corsi, which is Trevor, and he's just gone all the way because his little display picture is Steve Simmons.
Yeah, perfect.
Which is just perfect. Neil, who is Pavel My Balls.
Yeah.
And the best name by far from It's All Mando, Semenstains, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got some interesting matchups going this first week in the JetStream Fantasy Hockey League. But there's one thing I want to point out right away, and that is that Fuck Corsi is destroying Pavelik My Balls right now, 9-1. And the first...
All the other ones are pretty close.
Most of them are pretty close, but one thing I just want to point out is Pavelik My Balls drafted Pavelik first overall, Neil. So... Do you want to explain the logic behind that for us for a second here?
I knew I wasn't going to be at the draft, so I thought, let's make my presence filled with technology and set my only guy as Pavlik.
Make an impact even though you weren't there.
So hopefully at least a few of you guys laughed.
Yes.
It was hilarious.
But now I'm obviously reaping the...
Well, the funny thing is...
negatives right now.
On the draft, he set Pavlik to be drafted first overall, and then it just auto-drafted the rest of them. So his draft, first and second choice, went Pavlik and Henrik Lundqvist.
Yeah.
Henrik Lundqvist is the one screwing him right now.
Yeah, big time.
After getting lit up by the Leafs, Pavlik's save percentage right now is .917, and Lundqvist is .837.
Wow.
So
okay, well, it doesn't get much worse than myself and Mike Smith, who's got like a .776 save percentage right now.
Yeah, Joe and I are matched up in this first week, and I'm winning the save percentage battle right now with an .894.
Yeah.
So that just spells out how
Ben
terrible.
Bishop's doing great. And he's holding me in it, but like Mike Smith, not only did he only play one game, so I didn't get a point for him starting one game because he only played one of the two, and he got lit up by the Jets for 6 goals. Perfect.
78 save percentage. So,
so fuck my life.
We'll I wish we had the AK your fucks drop.
Yeah, oh, that would have been perfect.
But yeah, we're gonna keep some updates going on throughout the weeks. Just because of the way the league worked this year. Week 1 of the fantasy league is like this past week plus all of next week, so it's a bit of an elongated thing. But yeah, Joe and I are going head to head. Neil and Trevor are going head to head, and there's some other matchups going on. Everything's pretty close except for Neil and Trevor right now. So
at one point, you guys were pretty close. Like in the first couple games, you were within a point.
well, realistically, he's only a couple goals here or there away from really turning it around. So it's still a long week. Things can happen, and nobody can make changes. So I've got David Krejci sitting on the IR for the rest of this week. Even though he's playing today. So.
Excellent.
I need some help here. Dan Boyle has broken his wrist.
That sucks.
That's a
sorry.
problem.
Never mind. Breaking his right hand in the process. So it's his right hand. I'm assuming he won't come back soon. Is that a drop-worthy candidate and figure someone else to play defense for my team? Because 9-1 looks really dumb right now.
Neil's like really concerned about this.
Well, who do you have on your team?
Because I thought I saw the I think it was 8-0 like the first couple nights of the season, like Wednesday, Thursday. I'm like, oh, like, I'll come back. Like most of my players aren't playing. And what the fuck? I'm still at 1. Like,
well, I would put him on the IR, and then I don't know, who else do you have?
Well, you can't put anybody in from the bench yet, can you?
No, you've got to wait until
you have
next
to wait.
week. So, well, he's got to clear waivers, whatever he does.
Wednesdays?
The week starts on Sundays, but since it was a short week last week, it's like this whole next week, and next Monday is when your lineup will change.
Oh, so I'm doing nothing right now.
Yeah, you're setting this up for the next week,
I have to
basically.
concede. Fuck, he was talking shit too.
Of course.
Yeah, Trevor sent an excellent little message
Smack
to
talk.
Neil,
There's
so
some nice
it was,
smack talk.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
Neil, you got to find another defenseman. You have no other defenseman in your
Well,
lineup.
that's what I'm doing this episode, so...
Yeah.
He's going to be doing some
Let us know who
research.
you end up picking up, because
All right.
slim pickings right now. But yeah, on to real hockey things. If we're talking about predictions, let's say prediction wise, I'm batting about 500 right now because well, the Oilers don't look very playoff for the first. But they've already had a hoodie thrown on the ice.
But oh yeah,
so
the Leafs had a jersey, did they not?
The Leafs did have a jersey, and then they won their next game. But you know what? It wasn't a jersey from Edmonton, so we still have our bet going between the Jets or the Oilers, who gets a jersey thrown off first.
Still alive.
But I've never understood the point of throwing like a hoodie or something, or even a jersey on the ice. Like, that's an expensive thing to throw.
I figured it out. What the bet will be.
What?
Whoever loses the bet has to bench their top point producer in their fantasy team if we're playing each other. Because we play each other 3 times this year.
Well, that's thrown away a week.
The next time we play each other, whoever loses the bet has to bench their top point getter.
Damn.
Okay.
Deal.
Handshake on it?
Shaking
Okay,
on
that'll be the bet.
All right.
Okay, well, let's adjust everything. Is that a top point getter? The other guy gets to pick.
Okay,
who
yeah.
gets
Okay,
benched. So we pick who the person has to
Okay,
bench.
that's
in their
fair.
team.
That's
Okay,
fair.
whenever we play each other.
Perfect.
Okay,
Love it.
That's good. That's good. All right. I still haven't lost that because it was a hoodie.
Yeah.
But the Avalanche have also sucked lots of days.
Travis is loving this.
So it's been fantastic. The Avalanche are yet to score a goal
they
in
scored,
2
they
games.
Scored.
Did they score today?
They just scored today.
Oh, they scored today. Damn.
Only one though. Well,
Only
as
one
far as
goal.
I know, I stopped paying attention after the first goal, but they
See,
were
the
up
thing
1-0
is-
on Boston,
What? Okay.
and then it was 1-1.
The thing with this is, when you look a bit deeper, admittedly, I haven't watched much of either of their games. I watched a bit of the Edmonton game. Haven't watched anything of Colorado. But I was looking at some of their possession stats today, and it gives me a little bit more hope that I'm not completely out of my mind with this Edmonton pick. I'm still convinced that with Ben Scrivens, Victor's fast. I have Ben Scrivens, so I'm really banking on him pulling something up here.
Yeah.
I think there's still hope for the Oilers. I think the Oilers are actually, I'm still convinced they're making the playoffs. I'm sticking to that. They've been a near 60% possession team, and yes, it's early in the season, but they're showing signs of actually turning. They have like a 3% shooting percentage right now, which obviously is going to change. Although the Avalanche drew it well until today had a 0% shooting percentage, which
That's
is obviously gonna even
hilarious.
out. But they're still a below 40% possession team to start the year. And I saw a tweet today. Apparently they warmed up without pucks. And in like warm, they just didn't have pucks. They were just warming without it. And someone tweeted, "Oh, practice like you play, I guess," because they do never have the puck apparently. Yeah, let's just keep in mind it's the start of the year. Things are going pretty wonky, and it's gonna be crazy over a short period of time. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the Avalanche are gonna fall off the face of the earth this year, and I'm going to love every single second of it. And the Oilers are gonna make the playoffs, and I'm gonna be laughing at people's faces because they're gonna be like, "Oh no, the Jets, wah 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 wah."
Why do you think they're gonna fall off? Because they were like the
Avs?
darling.
Because
last year,
they.
right? Coach's rookie season, right? Patrick Waugh.
Yeah, but I don't think Patrick Waugh made nearly the effect as their ridiculous. Like, they need Semyon Varlamov to be absolutely elite. They need him to be like above elite potential to do that again. And if him alone just coming and regressing back to his career norms is gonna drop them off, and just the way they don't have the puck nearly enough to sustain A, that save percentage that Varlamov was able to pull off last year, or B, being able to score at the rate they did. Yes, they have a lot of young elite hockey players, but they're not going to all have career seasons again. And they lost Paul Stastny. Like, they've lost key pieces that were producing well for them and gained guys that drag teams down. So
unsustainable success, it sounds like.
Basically.
Regress to the mean.
Exactly. See? Nerd talk. It's perfect. But yeah, like, things are all kind of going crazy at the start of the season. This is always when you see the blowouts and teams just looking terrible and other teams looking unbelievably
like
amazing.
The Jets destroying the Coyotes.
The thing is, yeah, let's go on to the Jets right now. And the thing is, if you look at their start of the season, a 1-2 start is pretty much exactly what you could have guessed going into this weekend. Yep. I don't think the Coyotes were going to be good. I don't think anybody's surprised they beat them. I think people are surprised at how terrible Mike Smith looked.
Fuck my life.
But again, I think he's a little overrated as a goalie, but he is not 6 goals against
no
a game. Like, he looked brutal.
Yeah, he was terrible.
And he let in some very questionable goals. He let Mark Stewart score.
That was such an ugly goal.
And then Blake Wheeler scored from, like, the corner, which was ridiculous.
That was brutal as well.
So
that's the first game for you.
People got super optimistic off of that, which actually not a lot of people, but people were it's not going to be that bad, which is just ridiculous. But the one thing that did come out of that game was, of course, and I think we need to start with the big storyline of all of this, and that's Evander Kane being hurt.
Oh my God, I thought Pity was going to cry or something. I'm sure he did cry a little bit.
Just a single tear.
Oh my goodness. I was at my my men's league's soccer wind-up on Thursday night at Boston Pizza, and the game was on. I saw the injury happen. I didn't have my phone. It was in my jacket, so I like quickly go grab my phone, update Twitter, and I just see, like, I think his first tweet was like just crying in all caps. Was Pity's first tweet after he saw that, and then it was just like Twitter just blew up with people talking about it.
Well, yeah, like it's a big deal when you lose Evander Kane. Apparently, a caller called in 1290 and said if there's one forward the Jets could afford to lose, it's Evander Kane. Which
go home.
No, like, let's be honest here, that's just not true.
Just leave.
But if you're gonna play off of that, and we're gonna say that that's just wrong, like, how much do you think? Obviously, it has an impact on the team when Evander Kane goes down. This is potentially going to be his biggest year. A lot of expectations on him. The Jets are saying it's only going to be 2 weeks, which, fine. He hasn't had a brace on. He did that hilarious interview with Wheeler and Bufflin, which was just fantastic.
Yeah, everybody should watch that.
Showed how he should be in hockey TV afterwards.
Oh, absolutely.
And also made an amazing joke about how he always says the wrong things, which is just, go check that out.
Yeah, it was so good.
It was funny. But him being out for 2 weeks, and maybe even these last 2 games, how much do you think him being out's played into how the Jets have looked over these last 2 games? Just their inability to put up goals, period, over these last 2 games. Do you think that's really played a lot into it, or?
I think it's, especially at the beginning of the season, because everybody's coming in a little bit rusty, right? And we saw it with Mike Smith letting in 6 goals, or, and every team has their learning periods at the beginning of the season, and every season's like that.
Well, like we talked about last week with preseason does nothing.
Exactly, right? And I mean, the first couple games of the season are almost the same way, where it's like, don't look too much into it. But, I mean, you want to play as many games as you can early in the season so you can shake that rust off and hopefully be playing with the guys that you're going to be playing with the rest of the season. Yeah. And, form some chemistry, get some understanding going. And, I mean, I think it's going to hurt them in that respect because he's not playing with those same guys. And it immediately caused these lineups. After the first game, we saw all the lines that, well, at least before Evander Kane got injured, we saw all the lines that we thought were going to happen and that we really hoped were going to happen. Yeah. And, we were pretty happy with the lineups. And then Evander Kane gets injured, and then everything gets.
And then last night, Chris Thorburt's playing with Perreault and Lowry.
Yeah, and it wasn't quite as bad when after he got injured, they just shuffled the lineup a little bit, but they didn't do huge changes. But last night we saw some very big changes, and I don't think we see those changes if Evander Kane's still in the lineup.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's probably true.
Probably what?
It's probably try.
True. True.
That's probably try.
It's a weekend. It's a weekday again.
Oh, I guess
it's not a weeknight.
It's a holiday,
but it's a weekday. I've been studying lots of midterm tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how much it's really played into their overall effect and how things have looked, but it's definitely messed things up. And personally, I think Bufflin's actually looked pretty good playing with Scheifele and Wheeler. And Perreault and Lowry, in my opinion, have been 2 of the Jets' best players so far, which I don't know how much is just Perreault. But when you look at the fact that Chris Thorburn, once again, is getting promoted up the lineup, and it just, I don't see I don't want to go into a huge tirade again because I feel like it's the same thing over and over again, which again is another factor I can go off on a huge tirade on. It's the same thing over and over again. I was very prepared yesterday as of the end of the second period to start just questioning why is nothing changing? Why are the defensive groups staying the same? And then Paul Maurice did pull out the blender and start changing things up a little bit. But I think we saw for the first time, and we're going to see it over and over and over again, because injuries happen throughout the course of a season. Yep. And we're going to see it over and over again as to why it was so stupid to bring Chris Thorburn back. Because of that move alone, Eric O'Dell, who, yes, did clear waivers, and yes, ended up not being the end of the world, which, again, I think I was more pissed off about that situation and the fact that you were even taking the risk in losing him because Chris Thorburn was there. Yeah. But if Chris Thorburns not there, you have Eric O'Dell to slot into that position. People say all the time, he's in life, maybe he's just that guy who's that lifetime AHLer, can't really break into an NHL thing. Fine. But at least not having, again, Chris Thorburn makes your team worse. Yeah. Not having Chris Thorburn and having the option of putting Eric O'Dell in. The fact that Thorburn was put in instead of Matt Halischuk, I just don't comprehend the reasoning behind that. Why is Chris Thorburn the one who keeps getting these opportunities? We saw it against San Jose. He can't bury anything into an open net.
That was hilarious.
Like,
right through the legs.
Exactly.
Under the stick.
Like, you're an NHL hockey player.
Yeah.
That's not the first time we have pictures of him doing that. Last year, that was a regular occurrence when he was on the second line.
Oh, God. Second line.
I just don't understand. I don't see why he keeps getting these opportunities. He's an old, useless fighter. He won his first fight in God knows how long last night. Good for you, Chris Thorburn. Congratulations. You won a fight.
Yeah.
You do nothing else. Why is no one else getting these opportunities? Like, I just don't get the logic behind it. And I don't know if it says even more about how good Pro and Lowry are, is that they still somewhat produced something last night, despite it. And yes, he started getting shuffled around a lot, but I just don't get why Evander Kane getting down instantly means Chris Thorburn gets opportunities. Like, it just doesn't make any logical sense to me. But moving on past that and kind of expanding on the question I originally asked, with him being the main problem, I don't think, and yes, this will sound silly considering the Jets have scored, one goal in the last 2 games. They haven't looked good at all. I think this is what we saw. This is what a lot of us predicted were going to happen with the Jets. And I tweeted this last night, in that they're going to get scored on.
Yeah.
A lot. Whether or not it's... This defensive group is bad.
Yeah.
We've seen it in the last 2 games. And it's going to be even more highlighted as how troublesome that is when the Jets aren't scoring goals. And right now, in the last 2 games, they're not scoring goals. And if it's not Mike Smith in net against them in Arizona, do they score as much as they do? Or is that game instantly, let's take away the Wheeler goal, let's take away the Stewart goal, 4-2 game, 3-2 game going into the third possibly, or 3-1 game going into the third. Like, life is still there.
Take away those 2 kind of ugly... lucky goals.
Exactly. And I mean, you're playing a dangerous game when you start taking away goals and blah, 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 blah. And stuff happens. But, like, when the Jets aren't putting up 4 or 5 goals a night, like, it's not going to be pretty, especially against teams like the Kings and the Sharks. And
you're not really going to put up 4 and 5 goals a night against them, even if they have their backup goalie in, which both of them did.
Yeah, exactly. And both of them are very capable backup goaltenders. Exactly. Stalock's a good goaltender.
Yep.
Jones, they're good goalies. And it's just... And I'm going to say this right up front. This is not at all a knock on Pavlik. I think he's been serviceable so far. I question the second goal against Arizona, I think, was his fault. I think he overcommitted a little bit. And yeah, he hasn't been fantastic. And Hutch, yes. Actually, no, Hutch didn't struggle very much. He let in 1 questionable goal and was yanked. I would like to think that was more of a mercy pulling than anything else. Yeah. But it's the defensive group. Yeah. They've been atrocious.
You can watch almost all of the goals against and break it down to just missed assignments by the defense, and it's just brutal.
Stewart and Troub have been a disaster.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And in my opinion, it has not been Stewart's fault.
No.
Which, coming from me, is saying something. Like, Trouba, again, Stewart hasn't been fantastic. There was a period of time last night, I think it was right before the 3rd goal, where Stewart and Trouba are on the ice together. the Kings get the puck in their own end. They're skating up the boards. Stewart, for some reason, pinches and makes a big hit. Leaves Trouba vulnerable on a 2-on-1. They don't score. Puck gets cleared out of the zone. Trouba then goes way out of position, goes for a big hit. Leaves Stewart 2-on-1. And I think that's what ended up leading to a goal.
That was the goal, yeah.
And, like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's such a trade-off with those guys. I mean, they both want to go for that.
And the thing is, it's not even just them.
Yeah.
On a team where goaltending and team defense and stuff has been such an issue, why are the defensemen pinching so much to start the year?
Pinched a lot against LA.
I don't understand the logic behind. Like, I get you need to create offense, but over and over and odd man breaks, and a lot of it has been Jacob Trouba. He's putting himself in poor decision. He's making bad choices.
Yeah.
He's turning the puck over. He's getting beaten up down low. Trouba has looked brutal. And there were questions coming into this year about his conditioning and stuff. And I don't always buy into that. Like, again, when you look at a guy like Dustin Byfuglien who's able to dominate at his size,
Kessel,
and
people talk about Kessel's conditioning all the time,
which is ridiculous because Kessel is super stupid fast.
There's your obligatory Leafs drop.
Yeah, it wasn't even me. I was gonna bring up something earlier about Clarkson and tying that into Kane and missing the start of a season and blah blah blah, but I didn't. So thank you for bringing the Leafs.
No, like I said, it's a JetStream podcast guarantee.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter where it comes from.
But yeah, like it's just it started early. The first goal of the year against the Jets, Trouba, puck watching, let a guy walk in right behind him. Guys have been the defensemen have been late coming back, and it just has not looked good.
No.
And I'm curious as to when this is going to start falling on Charlie Huddy. He was the one, I think, assistant coach who was kept by the Jets when Noel got fired, and he's responsible for the defensemen. And yeah, some of it should fall on Chevy for not doing anything, but they're making terrible decisions, and it just doesn't look good. And for a group that is questionable at best to begin with, when you're making poor decisions, you get 3-0 at the end of the first.
Yeah, exactly.
4 goals against tonight, and what are you going to do?
Yeah, you're playing against NHL teams. They will punish you every chance they get.
Oh, yeah. And
you make one mistake, one bad pinch, and, I mean, it's a goal.
Yeah. The same, like Zach Bogosian, he's been out of position. The Kopitar goal last night, I think yesterday when we were watching it, I broke it down frame by frame.
Yeah.
He drifts over into the corner for some reason.
4 guys on 2 or 3 Kings.
Well, 2.5,
yeah,
we'll say.
One guy was pinned against the boards.
The puck gets circled back up to the point, and Bogosian, for some reason, starts moving up to the point.
Yeah.
He then lets Anze Kopitar walk right by him and pounce on the rebound for a goal.
Yeah.
Like, it's soft play. They're getting...
And floating the whole time. He never really took a full stride.
He didn't touch anybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. He's not skating.
Yeah.
Like, somebody, I can't remember who it was. This is you. I'm sorry for not citing you properly. The book's out on the Jets right now. Throw a puck on net. The goalies are pretty weak rebound control.
Mm-hmm.
Pucks are going to be available, and the defensemen aren't doing anything about it.
Yeah.
How many of these goals have been? And again, yeah, I blame that second one against Arizona on Pavlik. It was a rebound or a deflection that a guy just turned around and played the puck.
Yeah.
The first goal against Arizona was just no one was watching. They were all puck watching behind the net. All 5 guys were turned around watching the puck while Backlund, I think it was. No, was it Backlund? Whoever it was, gets the puck and walks into the slot and just shoots it top corner. Easy. At least 2 of the goals last night, easy rebounds that were just pucks there available for the taking. Like,
and the Jets are getting their fair share of chances like that as well, but it's the teams they're playing against are doing their jobs defensively.
Exactly.
And getting a stick in, lifting the stick, playing the body, either one.
They're making it difficult.
Yeah. It seems like the Jets just aren't putting in that little bit more that's stopping the second opportunity.
Slow reactions. Yeah. And there's no excuse for playing back-to-back. Every team they've played have played the exact same schedule as them so far. It's been back-to-backs. LA came from being in Arizona the night before and played the Jets last night. It's not like they were sitting there waiting for the Jets to come home. Like, if you're going to beat the Kings, it's when they had to fly into LA as well.
Yeah.
Probably equal distance, if not longer flight than the Jets had. After playing a game that went into overtime, starting your backup goaltender, like,
that was
you want to beat the Kings, there's your opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, I don't put much of that on Michael Hutchinson, despite the fact, like, yeah, it's a tough situation for a rookie goaltender. His first start of the year in LA on a back-to-back with a team that's known, again, goalie tending has been an issue in back-to-backs, but a team that doesn't win a lot of back-to-backs. Like, tough situation for him, but he wasn't the problem.
He let in one bad goal, and that was it. Yeah. The rest of them were not his fault.
They had nothing.
Yeah.
And, like, listen, I've said it earlier. The defense is going to be the Achilles heel of the Jets all year.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a surprise, but it's just been astounding how terrible they've looked.
Yeah.
And I want to try to have optimism. I'll bring up some good things that have happened in a minute, but like when Ladd, Little, and Frolik, they've been struggling against top opponents. That's something the Jets aren't used to, and it's probably going to change, but it's a concern right now. If those three can't do what they need to do, it's an issue. If they aren't shutting down top lines, no one else can really do it at this point.
Yeah.
Or you're not really going to score. And it's concerning, to say the least.
It's concerning to start your season off with those big question marks, but hopefully it's just those first couple games.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the forward groups isn't our biggest concern.
No, and it wasn't even coming into the year. It was not the forward groups.
I will give one Jets defenseman credit, and that's Paul Postma.
Yeah.
I think on many occasions he's been, especially last night, one of the Jets' best players. He's made good decisions. He's moved the puck effectively. He's gotten out of the zone. He's produced offensively. He's kept the puck hemmed in the offensive zone. He's not playing easier minutes. Like, he's starting in the defensive zone a lot of the Jets are, but he's making do what he has to do. So I'm glad to see Paul Postma stepping up.
Yep.
But at the cost of Trouba and Enstrom, Enstrom's been iffy. Like, he's just not been the same elite, quotations around elite, I guess, but he hasn't been at his regular level. Bogosian's been what I think a lot of us feared Bogosian was going to be, not a top line guy,
nothing
not
special,
a top pairing guy. Like I said, Trouba and Stewart have been brutal. Party's been Adam Party, but Postma's at least done something. But I don't know. I wouldn't trade 1 for 4.
No.
So, another positive, at least the PK has been good. They've killed everything off this far. I think TJ Gagliardi's had a big part to do with that. He's been excellent on the penalty kill for the Jets. Frolik's been pretty good on the penalty kill. But again, they've been taking a lot of penalties. So it's hard to be consistently optimistic. But again, like I said earlier, Perreault and Lowry have looked good. Wheeler got off to a good start. He hasn't scored in the last couple of games, but again, nobody has.
Yeah.
He's at least been dangerous in creating opportunities. I think Scheifele's looked a lot better than Trouba has to start the year. And
Scheifele got a shout out from Sutter, the head coach of LA Kings, said that he thinks that Little and Scheifele are two of the most underrated centers in the league, or in the conference.
Yeah, I think
anyways.
he compared Little to Kopitar, which again, I think if you look at these numbers that a lot of us do look at, that shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, Kopitar's Kopitar.
Yeah, it's
but
a different level.
Brian Little is a very good center, but again,
very underrated as well.
Struggling right now, and the Jets just aren't a good enough team to overcome struggles from your top groupings. They just aren't. It's the way, especially when you have Chris Thorburn playing on your third line. They can only pull him up so much before he starts weighing him down. So if there's something you really want to take a positive out, is that they've at least looked like a team that wants to turn it around. If they're doing it the right ways, I don't think so. But guys like Byfuglien, who people have always going to be on him, he's been kicked out of a game, but he's at least showing emotion and driving the net and doing good things. Wheeler has been fighting, which we'll see if that's a good thing or not. But actually, what are your thoughts on Wheeler fighting? Because he fought yesterday in response. He fought twice yesterday, actually. One of them in response to a fight or a hit on Scheifele.
In response to a fight to a hit on Scheifele. Yeah. What was the other one?
I think I can't really recall exactly what the situation was.
One.
But what do you think? What are your thoughts on Blake Wheeler of all people fighting?
Well, I mean, anytime he's one of the Jets star players. Anytime you have, or you could argue he's like the Jets star player right now when it comes to goal scoring. Anytime you have your top goal scorers throwing their hands around, it's a little bit concerning. We saw with Evander Kane, he got his hand cut up and he was out for how many weeks?
At least a month.
Yeah, exactly. It's slightly concerning, but I mean, at the same time, you have to sort of appreciate that everybody, even those star players, want to make a difference and show emotion, because they're competitors, right? They're gonna have those emotions, and when you're playing at such a high level, you're right on the edge all the time. So in something like that Scheifele case, they've already lost one of their players. It wasn't from a hit from an opponent, but it was,
a hit from
it was a hit
Shifley.
from Shifley. But they've already lost one player due to a hit.
Yeah.
And so they're obviously on high alert, and Robin Regeer clearly targeted Shifley, and it was perfectly fine. But Wheeler was right there; he saw it happen, and it was just a obviously snap instinct reaction, right? He was right there. It was literally like half a second after the hit was done, he was already grabbing him. Yeah. So I mean, when it's something like that, it's just so emotional, right away. You don't even think about it. So I mean, you can't really reprimand him for that. Well, you can reprimand him if you're the NHL, but I'm okay with that. I mean, like, I would prefer if the best players didn't use their hands for things other than scoring goals, but that's an ideal situation.
Well, it just makes me wonder again, what's the point of Chris Thorburn?
Oh yeah, also that you're kind of making him obsolete if you're got everybody else fighting, and sticking up for teammates or whatever.
Like, I'm fine with sticking up for teammates, but again, what's the point of Chris Thorburn then? Isn't that what he's supposed to do?
Yeah,
like that's all he ever does, and I don't know. It's harder and harder to defend him even being on this team. But on the topic of fighting, I was kind of saving my generic Leafs bring up for this little topic. The Leafs ended up getting rid of or waiving Colton Orr and Fraser McLaren last week. I wish I would have done last year. Who actually, both of them ended up getting healthy scratches from a Marlies game also. So
rough. Talk about a decline, eh?
Talk about their usefulness. Yeah. And that kind of spurred that conversation again. Is fighting done? Again, it's the Leafs. As soon as they do something, I guess it's generally accepted in the hockey populace that it's been done.
Yeah, of course.
But there are interesting comments brought up by Mike Milbury, of all people. The guy who went into the crowd and fought someone with his shoe.
His own shoe, like the fans' shoe.
The fans' shoe. It came out and said...
And also tripped a 12-year-old in a handshake line?
Yeah, like this guy.
So this guy's just a creep, like full on, like just messed up in the head. Yeah.
But he came out of all people and said, fighting should be gone. What are your thoughts on that?
That's an interesting one, and I listened to the Steve Dangle podcast from this week, and they talked about this on the Steve Dangle podcast. And they made points that I completely agreed with. There's two ways to take it. Do you take it way more seriously because it's a guy who's a pure goon in basically every aspect of his life?
Yeah.
Do you take it more seriously?
He is just a goon everywhere.
Who trips a kid in a handshake line? Like, you're messed up in the head. Like, that's like, I don't have words for that. You need to get your head checked. But do you take it more seriously because it's somebody like that saying that? Or do you completely disregard it because it's somebody like that saying that, right?
Yeah.
How do you look at it? And there's equal arguments for both sides. I would like to think that because it's a guy who's such a weirdo saying these things.
Or a guy who's such a proponent of it for so long.
Yeah, exactly. And like, he's basically talking about himself when he says we should get rid of fighting because, that was his life. I think you kind of have to take it a little bit more seriously when it's somebody like that saying that, but at the same time, I just want to disregard everything he says.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I think when Mike Milbury, of all people, comes out, and I think it's just because it's not only him that's said this. Like, ex-fighters have come out before and say, like, this needs to eventually go. Mm-hmm. And, again, I've clarified this before. Fighting's illegal in the NHL. It isn't.
It's always been.
It's against the rules.
Yes, you get a penalty for it.
You do get a penalty for it. It doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
It's just more generally accepted within the culture.
That's the culture.
Exactly, the culture of hockey.
Whatever that means.
It's the same thing. Like, kneeing and elbowing happen.
Yeah.
But it's still against the rules.
Yeah.
And shots to the head happen. It's still against the rules. It's just more against the culture. And I take more, like, when guys who have done it before and are suffering the repercussions of this now come out and say, and you see these situations of guys being mentally ill and committing suicide because of these issues and stuff like that, I think that's where it does start getting some grounds. And again, yeah, I heard them talking about this in a Steve Dangle podcast as well, and they're bringing up the fact that, like, it's just not okay. And it's something that it's a changing dynamic, and at some point along the way, both the league and the players are going to eventually come to a consensus, in my opinion, about this. I think it looks very bad on the players and the Players Association to be suing the league for allowing such violence and not telling them about it, and then go back the other way and say you have to let us keep fighting.
Yeah.
Because it just looks stupid. How can you argue both sides like that? So I think eventually it's going to get eliminated from the league completely. I think, and I'm not saying I completely think it's going to be accepted and agreed upon. Cases like Wheeler defending a teammate and stuff like that, I feel like it's going to be hard. And there are going to be star players who, it could end up being a guy like Blake Wheeler, it could end up being a guy like Evander Kane, who face severe repercussions for being the ones to stand up for their teammates.
Yeah.
But I don't think things like scrums are going to disappear anytime soon. No. Like, we still see it in basketball. Guys get together all the time. They shove each other.
Don't hold me back. Hold me back.
Exactly.
Hold me back.
Classic.
And in baseball, it happens too. There's, again, it's
bench
not
clearing brawls.
Yeah. Baseball players.
Yeah, baseball loves that.
And football too. You see guys getting scrums all the time. It's just, it's so much less accepted. And I think it'll take that one guy who, after a rule comes down where it's going to be a serious suspension if you fight somebody, it's going to take one guy, whether it's Evander Kane, Blake Wheeler, Dustin Byfuglien, or a Claude Giroux, or an Evgeny Malkin, who comes in and throws that one punch. That gets suspended for weeks on end.
And you know what? It seems like every other professional sports league has it figured out. Like, there's always scrums and shoving, and it's always just shoving. And then as soon as a punch gets thrown, that's where the line is drawn. That's how it is in the NFL. You hardly ever see. And then when that does happen, there are repercussions.
Yeah.
And same with the NBA. Like,
which is ridiculous because you can beat your wife in the NFL.
Yes, but you can't.
But you can't
punch
other.
You can't punch another player. But aside from that,
which has been changed now, just to clarify.
Yeah. But yeah, like every other league seems to have it figured out, you know, and shoving is something that's going to happen, right? And it happens in the NHL all the time, and it's whatever, and that's fine. But it's just that line of, you know, striking someone.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And it seems like the NHL is the only one league that hasn't figured out that you probably shouldn't be doing that.
Exactly. Which I always find hilarious because, again, bringing up stuff like the NFL, and it's always NHL people who are more than willing to take cheap shots and saying, oh, we have this best league, oh, all our players are so great. They literally brawl on the ice regularly. Yeah. They literally punch each other in the face with their fists on a regular basis. These aren't great people. And Semyon Varlamov also does things that are very questionable in his home life. And it, like, you want to talk about mental issues and stuff like that? Allowing players to fight on a regular basis is going to cause mental issues. So, again, backgrounds and things might be a little different, but when you let these things happen on a regular basis, shit's gonna happen. So, I don't know. I think it's gone. I don't know how soon it's gonna be gone. I think we've made these predictions before.
We did.
I think it's within 5 years, in my opinion, like it's gonna be gone. I wish Chris Thorburn would be gone sooner than that, but although I guess he will 3 years. But yeah, I don't see it sticking around for very much longer. Let's get to happier topics, though.
Sure.
Let's do a spelling bee.
Spelling bee time? All right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no,
we don't have music.
Oh, we don't have music.
Devastation. So it's not really It's not really a true spelling bee, and that kind of fits for today's spelling bee because I'm gonna tie this in with something that
you know what? I'll put the music on afterwards.
Okay.
But we just won't hear it.
Oh, we won't enjoy it.
Oh, okay. So we can just pretend like we're
enjoy it, everybody. You get to hear it, and we don't.
We don't.
So.
Yeah.
Ready, set, go.
I saw this on Twitter. Somebody retweeted it on the first night, or I think it was Friday night. I can't remember. But it was a European hockey name generator. So you put in your name, like your street that you grew up on, and like your first pet's name or something like that, and then it generates you a European hockey player name. And I did mine. I thought it was pretty funny. And then I was like, oh, Travis, I'll do yours. And he's like, no, you gotta save it. So I decided I would write up everybody's. So there's mine, Travis's, and Neil's on here. For our European hockey player name. So we're going to do a little European hockey name.
Oh, gosh, we're not even doing real hockey players. We're doing ourselves.
We're not even doing real hockey players. We're doing what our names would be if we were European hockey players.
So we have 3 spelling
bees? So we have 3 to go, yeah. But they're a little bit easier.
Individually.
They're a little bit easier. So it's not quite as confusing. So that's why we're going to do 3. But no, you guys are going to guess all 3 because I already have them in front of me, so it's not fair if I...
Sure. Okay, well, we'll do one at a time, so we'll start with your name.
You got to go 3 for 3, though, to win.
Yeah, you got to get 3 for 3. Okay, so we'll start off with mine. So Joe Clark as a European hockey player name is Akab Muquist.
Oh my god, that's so much harder than I thought it was going to be.
Akab Muquist?
Akab Muquist.
Akab. Akab Muquist.
Muquist? Quisp?
Muquist.
Muquist.
Yeah, it's great.
Are we going to go one by one, or are we going to do all
So
three?
just do yours.
one by one.
Well, are you going to try and guess them right now? Or I can just...
Might as well, because I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
okay, go
remember
for it.
this.
Okay, what do you got, Neil?
AKAB, Akab, Muquist, Muquist.
Okay, Travis?
I'm going to go ACAB.
Okay.
MOOQUIST.
Well, it's too bad that nobody's going to win.
Okay, we'll go
Because
best 2 or 3. We'll go best out of 3.
Anyways, you got Muquist right, Travis, but Akab has 2 A's. It's ACAAB.
Akab.
No, it's ACAA. Akab.
Akab.
Holy crap.
So, well, nobody's going to win now, but we'll keep going. Travis Harubinik, in European hockey player name, is Bayab Sandquist.
Wow.
Bayab.
That's
way too close to Bayak. I don't like that.
Yeah, I know. Bayab Sandquist.
Bayab Sandquist.
Yes.
I should get Sandquist put on my
You should get Sandquist.
All right, Bayab, Beyab.
Okay.
Sandquist, Sandquist.
Okay.
They just show so Quist on the end of everything.
Not all of them. There's a couple different ones, but it just so happened that both of you and I got Quist.
Bayab Sandquist. Baayab.
Okay.
Sandquist.
Well, you both got Sandquist right.
Yeah.
But Bayab is Baiab.
Oh,
Yeah. And then Niels, which is my personal favorite. It doesn't sound particularly European, but it's still funny. Islab Nachasin.
Yes.
Islab Nachinson.
Islab, which is a great first name.
Call me Islab.
Yeah, from now on. Islab Nachasin.
Nachinson.
Nachasin.
Nachasin?
Nachasin.
Nachasin. Nachasin.
What do you got, Neil?
Islab, EZLAB, Notchison, NOTCHUSIN.
Oh, wow. That was pretty in-depth.
ISLAB.
Okay.
NACHISON.
Oh, so close. You got Islab right.
Dang it.
Yeah, Islab was ISLAB, and then Nachasin is NACHOSEN. So, but Neil had the best one by far.
Yeah, Islab.
Islam.
If you want to get your own European name generator or player name, I highly recommend it. It's hilarious. Just go to CBC. They have this show. One of their programs on CBC Radio is called This Is That. And if you just go to the CBC This Is That webpage.
So the CBC is just like promoting everybody being like, hey, let's all turn ourselves Russians.
The original website that I found that was tweeted out was a completely different website. But when I Googled it, it gave me this. So I was like, okay, it's the same one. It gave me the same name that I tried the first time. So I figured it was the same one. Anyways, just go to the CBC This Is That main page and just follow the links to get to where your European hockey player name is. Or you can just type in European hockey name generator on Google, and it's the first link.
Speaking of CBC, can we talk about how stupid Don Cherry is for just like
Absolutely. That's like one of my favorite topics.
His rant this weekend on Coach's Corner, like everyone's just like, yay, Coach's Corner, yeah. Well, actually,
See, that's
anyone
not
who knows
me.
hockey is just like, oh,
That was
God.
not me. Every time Coach's Corner comes on, I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's get the popcorn out.
Let's just see what xenophobic, potentially racist
Yep.
things this old
Let's see what
shit's
kind
gonna
of
say now.
let's see what kind of sexist / racist remarks we can get going on national TV right now.
He argued for like a good 2.5, 3 minutes, or however long his stupid thing is,
It's 5 minutes, I think. Yeah.
that the reason the Leafs suck is because they don't have enough people from Ontario.
That they don't draft enough good OHL boys.
That their draft this year,
Because they passed up on Nick Ritchie, it was, and got what's his face instead.
they drafted no Canadians this year.
Nylander.
There is, Steve Dangle pointed this out in his video, there's one guy from this year's draft who's playing in the NHL right now. It's Leon Draisaitl.
Who's from Germany.
Who's from Germany.
Yes.
So,
None of the good OHL boys who were drafted this year made it to the NHL, so good luck with
like,
that.
the Leafs currently have I think they started like 7 guys from Toronto.
Yeah, they had 5 guys in their opening night starting lineup that were actually from Toronto. Not even Ontario, just Toronto. Toronto, yes.
Like, you're an idiot.
And Stuart Percy is from... He's a rookie, and he's from where? Is he from Toronto or somewhere?
He's Toronto.
He's from
At
Ontario.
least Ontario. Nazem Kadri's from Toronto.
Yeah.
David Clarkson's from Toronto. Yeah. Like...
the forward that was also a rookie. Winnick. No, there was another one that was... whatever. I forget. Doesn't matter.
Kozin.
Yes, Kozin. Sorry, that was who I was
Well, he's from California, and he
but
trained in Calgary, so I don't think he's from Toronto.
No, but he played for the Canadian national junior team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's such, like... At least make fun of them for the right reasons.
That was a good point that Steve Dangle made. He's like, everybody knows that the Leafs aren't that great, and there are plenty of arguments for that you can make. This is not one of them.
It's like...
yeah.
Brian Burke drafted more guys from the OHL than anybody else when he was drafting, when he was the GM of the Leafs.
Yeah.
Like, at least be accurate. You can be... No, you can't even... Like, everyone's accepted that you're, like, xenophobic and racist and sexist and all these other things. At least be right with your facts.
Yeah.
Like, your opinion's fine. Be a terrible human being.
But at least use facts.
At least use facts every once in a while. Like, our taxes pay his salary.
It's interesting that you could be so confident in what you say
and be so wrong at the same time.
But also, like, not only that,
incorrect.
Not only that, be so confident in what you're gonna say that you're about to go on national TV and do zero research,
like,
to see if you're actually right. Like, not even just Google how many OHL players are playing for Toronto, right? Like, easy enough.
Yeah.
Anybody could do that. But he just happens to say, this is what I think. Whatever. Don't really care if I'm right or not. I'm just gonna spew it out there.
I'm gonna Google
even though there are some people out there who take what I say as gospel, and I'm just giving them misinformation.
I'm gonna Google it right now and see how easy it is.
Okay.
How many OHL grads play for the Leafs?
What's the first link?
Let's just see. OHL history is the first link. Marley's grads. OHL All-Stars. Okay, it's a little harder than I thought.
You might have to spend like 10 minutes searching Google.
Okay, let's do this.
So, never mind.
Okay, from Toronto. Let's go Toronto Maple Leafs roster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it'll tell you where they came from.
Maple Leafs roster. So, what? It's 250 when I started this search.
Yes.
Maple Leafs roster. Well, if
Let's time it. I'll get a timer going.
My iPad just froze. This might make it
okay. I'll get you on the clock. Hold on. We'll get this started.
Well, I'm already doing it, so...
Well, no, I got an official timer going.
All right, here we go. It's still 250.
Okay.
Let's see. From Toronto, David Clarkson, there's 1. Peter Holland, that's 2. Daniel Winnick, that's 3. Are we counting, like, Oakville and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Oakville. Stuart Percy, that's 4. London, Ontario's Nazem Kadri.
Good enough.
There's 5.
I'll take that.
There's 5 from Southern Ontario alone right there. Does it say
where they came from? OHL, WHL?
No, not here. But if you click on them, it'll show you where they played.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go Canadian. So there's 5 good Ontario boys. Then we have Carter Ashton, who's from Winnipeg, so 6.
Canadians.
Tyler Bozak, who's from Regina, 7. Matt Fratton, Edmonton, 8. Brandon Kozin. They have his birthplace is LA, but he plays for Canada, so and he trained in Canada, 9. Joffrey Lupul, Fort Saskatchewan, 10. Fraser McLaren, not on the team anymore.
Shucks.
Yeah, shucks. Mike Santorelli, Vancouver, 11. Cody Franzen, BC, 12. Dion Phaneuf, Edmonton, Alberta, 13. Morgan Riley, Vancouver, 14. Stefan Robidaw, Sherbrooke, 15. Jonathan Bernier, Quebec, 16. James Reimer, Manitoba, 17 players on their roster right now.
Okay.
And that took, what, like 2 minutes to find out that many Canadians are on the team?
We got a minute 30 on the clock.
17, and he went on national TV to argue that the Leafs don't have enough Canadians on their team.
Yeah, his main thing was OHL players or whatever, but
like
it doesn't at that point.
You're such a moron, John Cherry.
Good old Don Cherry. But the reason he's on TV is because he gets people talking, and we're talking about him right now. So
that's very true.
He'll stay there until he dies, probably.
On air, beside Ron McLean.
Most likely.
Poor Ron McLean, you're such a saint.
He is... I love Ron McLean.
He's the most tolerable human being.
I think he is.
Ever.
I think he is the most tolerable man.
He deals with so much crap.
Yeah. Tolerant man, not tolerable.
Well, think that's about it for us this week. The Jets don't play until Friday night, actually, when they have their home opener against the Nashville Predators. Then they play Sunday at home as well against the Calgary Flames. So a couple of potential wins. They could draw even on the season, could go above 500. Who knows?
Neil's hoping that James Neal snipes a couple and brings him back up in fantasy, so he's not losing 9-1.
Yeah, our fantasy update, I guess we kind of already did that a little bit, but I'm still playing Joe.
As of right now, it shouldn't really change. I don't think we have any players playing.
It won't really change right now.
Yeah.
Or no, there's a game going on right now. Oh no, because David Krejci's on the IR.
Still 5-5.
Power points scored.
It's you have to win your category. So all those categories: goals, assists, power play goals and assists, shorthanded goals and assists, shots on goal, game started, wins, losses, goals against. If you win that category for the week, you get a point.
I see now. So I'm winning one category.
What's your category?
Points per assist, PPA.
Power play assists.
Power play assists.
Yes.
Hey, I'm winning that one too against Joe. All right, well, like I said, that's it for us this week. So if you want to get at us, you want to... Oh, by the way, we have a lot of new people following us on Twitter. If you're following us on Twitter and listening to the first time, I promise we're not always this negative. We're just kind of critical. And we like to have fun, and we like hearing from you. So if tweet at us at JetStreamPod using hashtag JetStream. Tell us anything. If you think we're stupid, if you think we're idiots, anything like that, tweet at us, let us know. If you really want to voice your opinion, email us, jetstreampodcast@gmail.com, and we can get a little conversation going. Maybe we'll talk about your email on the show. Check out the website, www.jetstreampodcast.com. Now,
tweet us your European hockey player names.
Yeah, tweet us your European hockey player names. Joe, what's the website for that again?
Well, you can the easiest way to do it is just Google European hockey player name generator, and it's the first link. Or you can go to the CBC website to the This Is That show page, and it's on there.
Perfect. If you want to attack us verbally in person, or well, not in person, but directly to our cell phones,
please don't attack me in person. I'll probably run and scream.
If you want to verbally attack us on Twitter,
there you go.
My handle is at @TRubeniuk, at THRUBENIUK. Our good Ontario boy is Joe Clark.
Damn right.
Thank God Ontario would hate us completely. We are 33% Ontario. His Twitter handle is at JW_Clark, CLARK20. That's 20. Don't need to spell it out. And Neil's handle is at Neil Noonan, NEILNOONAN. If you're also listening to us for the first time and want to get our regular wonderful podcasts onto your phone automatically, you can subscribe on iTunes. It's also greatly appreciated if you rate us and leave a comment so we can let other people know how either awesome or awful we are.
Yep. Either
Either way, leave something. Check out arcticguyshockey.com. There will be links posted there following every episode. You can watch us on YouTube from there. You can check out a bunch of different stuff, and if we see something interesting, we might just throw it up on there as well. But for now, thank you all for listening. Enjoy the week of, I guess, not Jets hockey until Friday.
It's supposed to be nice weather all week, so if you're in Winnipeg, enjoy that.
Go outside. Have fun. Or if you're in Tallahassee, it's probably nice there all the time, right on it?
Yep.
So, yeah, enjoy your week. If you're going to the home opener, have fun. Hopefully they get a win for you. And, yeah, go Jets, go.